So, I was like disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, doesn't decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on DOGE gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And you ever watch two jackasses butt heads and wonder why people are treating it like a chess match? That's exactly what's happening here. The media is covering this Elon Musk-Donald Trump fallout like it's some high-stakes clash of the brainiacs. Newsflash, it's not.
As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA.
Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
It started with record-breaking big-dollar campaign contributions to put Trump back in power and led Musk to an integral role in Trump's orbit.
This comes as Musk has criticized the president's sweeping domestic policy bill, telling CBS News the legislation will add to the national deficit, as you pointed out, Joe, and undermines the work his DOGE team is doing. Musk also appeared to distance himself from the White House when he spoke about the challenges he faces in expressing his opinions within the Trump administration.
It's not like I agree with everything the administration does. So it's like I agree with much of what the administration does, but we have differences of opinion. There are things that I don't entirely agree with.
This isn't a political debate. It's not disagreement between visionaries. It's not even a power struggle. This is a lover's spat between two grifting egomaniacs who are both mad they don't have full control of the con. And the only real tragedy here, that anyone in the press is still pretending either one of them deserves a platform, let alone power. You got Elon Musk, a tech cult leader with a persecution fetish, publicly whining that Trump's big, beautiful bill isn't aligned with his grand DOGE plan to gut the federal government and install himself as our goofy, twitchy overlord. And you've got Donald Trump, the human embodiment of ego rot, barking into the abyss that Musk was never that important anyway, right before asking for another donation.
It was inevitable that he was not going to stay there very long. And it pushed along by the fact that his businesses are a bit in distress, and so he needs to pay attention and do his actual job.
Do you think he's actually leaving?
I think he's probably frustrated by the pace of government. And when he goes back to his companies, he says jump and they say how high. At the government, they don't do that. And I think he found a lot more difficulty in finding real cuts and everything else. And I think they're only sending $9 billion in DOGE cuts which is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, which means pretty much his effort was a failure.
There's no good cop, bad cop here. There's no visionary statesman. There's no misunderstood genius in the shadows. There are only two wolves fighting over the last sheep in the pen, and the rest of us are supposed to watch like it's some kind of grand drama. Nah, this is a grift imploding under the weight of its own narcissism. The bromance is dead, and the vultures are circling. So grab a chair. We're about to break down exactly how these two golden idols turned into rusty trash fires.
I don't understand the complicated ways of Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C., but I do understand that Elon Musk is desperately trying, as subtly as he can, but as clearly as he can, to separate himself from the work that he did over the past 4 or 5 months that savaged his reputation in the business.
Let's start with Elon, shall we? Elon Musk is not a genius. He's not a leader. He's not a visionary. He's just rich. And he's made a career out of proving that's all it takes to fool half of the media and most of Twitter. This is the same guy who bought Twitter, renamed it to X like he's rebooting a failed Xbox console, and proceeded to turn it into a digital sewage plant for fascist fanboys and failed crypto bros. Tesla, tanking. SpaceX, still crashing. Starlink, he treats it like it's some kind of military lever, threatening to yank satellite coverage from Ukraine like a toddler with the power cord. This man is not an innovator. He's a man-child with a billionaire sandbox, calling regular Americans parasites while sucking down government subsidies and then rage-tweeting about the deficit. And now he's pretending to have some reflective moment Please, that's not reflection. That's what a ketamine fog and collapsing stock portfolio looked like in a $9,000 hoodie. He talks about his mission like he's Moses with Wi-Fi, but make no mistake, Elon's real mission is to rig the game so the future serves him and everyone else gets whatever's left. Maybe. This is a man who once walked around with emeralds in his pockets and apartheid behind him, and now wants to call people on food stamps the drain on society. He's not a patriot. He's not a genius. He's a glorified landlord with a better PR team. If Elon Musk wants sympathy, he can flip through a dictionary and find it between shit and syphilis, right next to Trump, if we're being honest. Yeah. Now, let's move on to the other half of this bargain bin Bond villain duo, Donald John Trump, a.k.a. the human comb-over of American politics, a.k.a. a failed casino magnate with delusions of godhood. Let's not forget, this guy made $2.9 billion in personal wealth just from his first 100 days after crawling back into public life. That's not public service, that's organized looting, and every second he spends pretending to care about deficits or working people should come with a laugh track and a do not resuscitate tag on the Constitution. Trump doesn't care about you, your bills, your town, your kids. He cares about tax loopholes, Fox News coverage, and whether Elon's check has cleared. He only ever tolerated Musk because he thought he could control him. That's it. Trump doesn't believe in loyalty. He believes in obedience. If you're not praising him like he's the diet messiah, you're a traitor. If you point out facts, you're fake news. And if you're on Social Security, you're scum. Yes, that came straight from his Memorial Day message. This man calls Americans freeloaders, then turns around and demands we cover his legal bills, his rallies, and his gold-plated tantrums. He's not a populist. He's a parasite in a flag pen, draining the country dry while blaming the people bleeding for him. And now he's pretending to ice out Elon like it's some alpha move. Please, it's not strategy. That's high school cafeteria politics with nuclear codes. Let's talk about this so-called feud, the media's favorite word right now, like it's the next great political showdown, like we're watching Survivor Billionaire Edition. Let me break it down for you folks. This was never going to work. It wasn't a partnership. It was a deal with two devils, and neither one read the fine print. Elon Musk likes to be the visionary in the room, the guy who tells presidents what to do, then drafts policy with crayons and tweets it out like scripture. Donald Trump, he doesn't share oxygen, let alone credit. So what we've got here is a textbook clash of narcissistic dysfunction. Elon wants worship, Trump wants servitude. One wants to be CEO of America, and the other wants to be God King of America. These two were never aligned. They were just temporarily useful to each other, like a snake borrowing venom from another snake until the next bite. And now that the money's shifting and the spotlight's moved, they're butting heads like two boomers fighting over the last slice of white nationalist pie. Don't act surprised. The signs were everywhere. Red flags? Hell, it was a damn parade of flashing lights, Twitter meltdowns, press leaks, and behind-the-scenes hissy fits. This wasn't a feud in the making. It was a signed festival with emergency flares and exploding Teslas. So yeah, we saw this coming. The only people pretending this is complicated are the ones trying to sell access to these two flaming garbage trucks. So here's where the real rot lives, not just in Musk and Trump, but in the damn media playing footsie with both of them like it's a tennis match and not a national emergency. Let's be clear. This is not a Shakespearean rivalry. This is not a battle of ideas. This is not Elon the disillusioned visionary versus Trump the stubborn tactician. It's two con men squabbling over who gets to loot the country first. But turn on CNN or skim the Washington Post, and what do you see? Reflective Elon. Elon Musk disappointed with the spending bill. Trump distances himself from key donor. Pardon my asking, but what are we doing? Why are we handing these fools a legitimacy baton like this is the Olympics of opinion? Elon Musk isn't some tortured genius retreating from public life to reimagine the future. He's a fraud factory with a PR team who keeps setting their credibility on fire and calling it innovation. And Donald Trump isn't a misunderstood patriot rethinking his inner circle. He's a scorched earth tyrant chasing money and validation like a geriatric frat boy on grievance. The media should be exposing this. Instead, they're romanticizing it. There's no good cop, bad cop here. There's just bad actors with private jets. And the only thing being policed is the truth. So let's bring it full circle, this entire feud. It's not some ideological clash between geniuses. It's not democracy in action. It's not even interesting once you strip away all the glitter. It's two narcissists with God complexes having a hissy fit over whose ass should sit closer to the throne. Trump wants obedience, Musk wants reverence. Both want control of your life, your paycheck, your health care, your privacy, your truth. And when they don't get what they want, they turn on each other like rats on a sinking yacht. And here's the bottom line. We should not give either one of them a single ounce of sympathy. Musk can go cry into his emerald pillow. Trump can sulk in his gold-plated bathroom. Neither deserves your pity. If Elon Musk wants sympathy, he can open a dictionary and look between shit and syphilis. And speaking of syphilis, Donald Trump's name isn't too far down that list. So shame on the enablers in the media. Shame on anyone trying to give these goons a redemptive storyline. And shame on anyone still believing that billionaires and autocrats are the saviors that we've been waiting for, because they're not. They're the villains. And it's past time we call them what they are: loud, corrupt, dangerous, and disposable. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.